Welcome everyone, Uncle Sam presents the Scarecrow Hour. Welcome to the Scarecrow, Scarecrow Hour. Random, the most random ninja. Uncle, who's your uncle? The Scarecrow Hour, brought to you by Uncle Sam. This is the Scarecrow Hour.
Thanks for joining us. We had a technical issue with the audio. We are aware of the problem with one of the microphones and have done our best to correct the error. Welcome to the Scarecrow Hour. Please enjoy the show.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Uncle Sam and Random Ninja.
You can call me James, though. We're cool.
Yeah.
Been a minute.
Still call me Sam, Uncle Sam. That's right. Who's your uncle?
Who's your uncle?
And we are back with the Scarecrow Hour, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Are you excited?
Yeah. Oh, very excited, man. Dude, this is so long overdue.
Oh, I know, dude.
Like, I've sometimes by myself, I pretend that I'm doing a Scarecrow Hour, and I've got this like teddy bear, and I shaved its head and stuff. It took that fur and put it on its face, and I'm like, hey, Uncle Sam Bear. And you know what, dude? It's pretty good host too. It's pretty good co-host. So you got your work cut out for you. I'm used to working with a real pro.
So I am competing with a stuffed bear. Fantastic.
Your entire life,
dude, that's tell me about it. That's the story of my life.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But no, dude, super glad to get back here talking about our favorite movies, like we always have.
Dude, that's the thing about this. We're always doing our entertainment reviews, our movie and TV shows, but for the Scarecrow Hour, we're gonna focus just on one film.
Yeah, and also spoiler full. This will have spoilers for the film we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike our What We're Watching Wednesdays that are usually spoiler free.
Typically.
Unless I get a little excited and you have to censor me. Deadpool Wolverine. It happens.
It happens.
So this every time we do a What We're Watching Wednesday, I'm like, I want to do a Scarecrow Hour. I'm like, I would do this Scarecrow Hour. I'm like, can we do a short Scarecrow Hour? We're not going to find out today if we can do a short Scarecrow Hour. We're in it to win it. Hours in the name.
Yes.
So we really painted ourselves in a corner.
Yeah, well, the thing about that is if we go over an hour, guess what? We have another video for you guys. So it's just more entertainment for you guys. And it's, we're not going to stop talking about movies. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I actually liked the time Predators. We went 3 hours, 3 episodes.
Yes. Yeah, we did 3 episodes for Predators.
I enjoy that because I go back and listen to our episodes. Maybe that's vain. I don't know. I can't really tell you, but it's no. I'll tell you what's. Let me tell you what's vain about it. I was listening to that and I laughed at my own joke and I repeated it. It was something like talking about the spaceship. Hope planet's not far. And I was like, planet's not far. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude, did you seriously just do that? I think I was having withdrawals of not doing Scarecrow.
Well, we've got you fixed right now today. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to tell them what movie we're going to be talking about today? If you haven't figured it out yet by our lovely display over here.
Oh yeah. Well, the thumbnail they probably clicked on.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about none other than Richard Linklater's cult classic coming of age story, Dazed and Confused. Okay, this movie was made in the early 90s, but it is set in 1976.
More specifically, it is set May 28th, 1976.
That's pretty close to. We're in May 20th.
It's May 28th. Did I say 26? No, I said 28th.
Know.
Anyway, yeah. And what are we? We're on the 23rd, so we're 5 days away. We should have just waited 5 days. Could you not wait 5 days? Can y'all wait 5 days? Well, hey, actually, you might actually be watching this on May 28th. So if you're actually watching this on May 28th, well, here you go. Congratulations. It's Dazed and Confused Day.
Yeah, we really messed ourselves up right there. We should not mention it.
Yeah, well.
But oh well, that's fine. Like not like you couldn't edit it out. But let's not do that. I don't know. It feels like cheating when you edit stuff out. I mean, I get it sometimes, legal reasons.
It's staying in. It is what it is. But yeah. So
so we got a lited bit of Dazed and Confused stuff here for the atmosphere. We're obviously not in the Scarecrow Dojo. We're in another secret location.
We are in an undisclosed location, ladies and gentlemen.
All I can tell you is it's very deep underground, and that's it. And it's cold, and it's wet. But it's hot.
If you hear any splashing sound, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Those are controlled splashes.
Exactly.
So, and also represent the Texas flag, not just because we are proud Texans, but this is a Texas movie.
This is a Texas movie. That's
This-
one thing about Linklater is most of his films like this, his personal, more personal
absolutely.
films, they're absolutely set in Texas.
Yeah,
He is from Texas.
he is
so,
from Texas.
Yeah, it
And
kind of makes sense.
that's the interesting thing about the movie. It was honestly, and we'll get to first impressions in a minute, but like I had seen this movie countless times before I realized it was in Texas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one day I was watching it and I think it was Benny's truck. I saw a Texas license plate. Because I used to not think about stuff like that, when I was younger. And that just tells you this movie could honestly be based anywhere. It's like, okay, it's in Texas, but you don't have all the stereotypical cowboy stuff going on.
Oh yeah. No, it's not. It's not aimed at to be like a Texas movie.
Right. It's a real
know?
movie.
Yeah, it's just a movie, and it just happens to be in Texas.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like it was filmed in Austin, famously. However, it's set, I believe it's Lee, they refer to the town as.
Yeah, Lee.
Which is
It's
not
the
a
Lee
town.
Rebels.
Yeah, Rebel Gray.
Yeah.
But Linklater, it's actually based on Huntsville. And that's where Richard Linklater grew up and played
Oh,
football
okay.
and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So that's another part of the story too. I'll get to about actually when they showed this in Huntsville.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that. But
Been to
so
Huntsville
were
before.
you a fan of this flick growing up?
That's what I was when I was rewatching the movie last night. Actually, I remember the first time I saw the movie. I didn't see it from start to finish. The first time I ever saw it. First time I ever saw it. Well, I'll get to that point whenever we get to that. I'll explain it. But I saw part of it and I was like, oh, okay. And I sat down and started watching it. And I want to say like my dad or someone else had it on.
Yeah.
And I started watching it, and like from there I was like, oh, okay. And then it wasn't. I was young, really young, and then it wasn't until I got into high school that I really got into it and started
Yeah.
watching it, so.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, like being young, you're not really going to appreciate this movie as much, because I could see how because there are some younger characters in it, but I think like you almost have to be ready for this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't understand what in the world was going on. When we get to that scene, you'll understand why. I was like, what the heck is going on here? Remember, I was 8 years old when this came out.
Okay, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it came out in 93. I was born in 85. So
And again, since it's a period piece, this movie could have been made last year. It could have been made in the 70s, in 76. It just works like that. But I say coming of age, or not really coming of age, but a period piece.
yeah.
It's not just that it's a period piece about the 70s. It's a period piece about like the age like 14 to 17. Like
Yes.
I think, and that's why this movie hits when we love it so much, is because no matter what generation you're in, that's you. That's
Yeah,
your,
you've had some sort of experience in that.
yeah, that's
in
how
that
you
time.
feel.
Yes.
You're young, you got youthful ignorance. You got adults telling you how to live and stuff, and then you're just bucking the system whenever you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's just timeless. Again, the coming of age thing. And an interesting point to that is this stuff is somewhat autobiographical too. Biographical, is that the word?
Autobiographical.
There you goes. An extent to Linklater, because like certain characters, like Pink is, it's based on him, his experiences in school. Although there was another guy with that name, he just took the name. But and also Mitch is also, these are both stand-ins. It's like that's Richard at 14, and then there's Richard at 17.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured whenever, actually coming back as an adult and looking at this film, and it's like understanding that these things are, pretty much see, now I can't say it.
It's a tricky
Autobiographical. And it's like I guarantee, I was like, that's what I was thinking, was like that's got to be him whenever he was, becoming a freshman, and that was him going into a senior. And then of course, Everybody Wants Some, he's going into college. But
yeah, great film.
So
But
that's
lesser known.
Yeah. Yes, but still, you want to see it.
Yeah. So I guess my first impression of this movie was, I remember very clearly the first time I ever watched this movie. I rented it from my local library.
Okay. Okay.
on VHS, the library, and I'd only been a little curious about it. It was one of those movies I never saw any previews for, nothing like that. But in passing, you would hear somebody say like, "Oh, like in Dazed and Confused," or
Okay.
"Oh yeah, have you seen Dazed and Confused?" And you're like, no.
How old? How old were you?
I was about 16
About
or
16,
17.
okay.
Yeah, so it was like right there for me, Like I lined up with the age, I rented it from the library, and I remember watching it at my sister's house, or well, it was my grandparents' house. She lived there on one of those little TV VCR combo gimmicks,
Oh yeah.
the little 20-inch.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. We used to watch movies like that. Nowadays, everybody has like 50, 100-inch TVs, flat screens. But no, back in the day, man, we had a little square glass thing. You know,
Yeah. And they were heavy.
yeah, no, for sure. And then she had that thing for way too long. Like VCRs weren't even in play anymore. And my sister had that. And then one day she's like, TV went out. I was like, it deserved it.
Give it a break already.
It's like, you should have mercy killed that TV. But we used to watch a lot on it. Anyway, I digress. But I remember watching the movie and just kind of instantly becoming obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought it was so cool. And the whole time I'm watching the movie, I didn't really know what was going to happen. You know, because the movie doesn't just follow that typical, oh, here's our heroes, here's our villains, here's
yeah.
this, that. You know, essentially, there's not really that much of a big bad. There's not a big bad in it. You know, you got some jerks.
Yeah, you have major jerks, and even just kind of different characters play that role for brief moments too, because you have 2 or 3 but there's one major jerk. But for the most part, you have a couple other characters that
Sure.
step in and be jerks.
And you got like the coaches, you know, but they're in it so little.
Yeah.
You know, which, oh my gosh, were those dudes great at playing coaches? Like, that was it too. I was like, I know that's the thing about this movie. You watch the movie and you don't necessarily see yourself in it. Maybe you do. You know, I don't know who I would relate to. Is there a character you relate to that, you know, you're like, that's me. That's my guy in there. I mean, we all want to be like Pink, you know, or.
Yeah, no, I definitely was not Pink. I definitely fell more in the Slater role
I can see you
in high school. Like towards the last part, especially those last couple of years. Yeah, I definitely junior, senior year. Yes, definitely. I more felt not. Yeah, I did. Okay, yeah, okay. It just
when I was younger, I kind of related to Don a little bit, you know, just because I don't know, he's just kind of sloppy, I guess, you know, kind of, you know, like messing with his friends and stuff, you know, a little bit.
doesn't give a F about anything.
Yeah, kind of a diplomat, you know.
Yeah.
And, well, I mean, and a lot of these guys are, you know, these characters. You have your different groups, sort of, but they mix together, and that's a really small town, also.
Yes, that's
know?
I know. Well, that's one of the things is where you like, especially Pink, you know, he's one of the main ones that's going in between literally every little group. And of course, like you said, a lot of them do mix together, but like that's sort of how I was in high school anyway. I had a place in each little clique or group or whatever, like just because I played enough sports to be okay with those dudes. Of course, I enjoyed like science and stuff like that, and I did well, you know, as far as academics go for the most part, and I could, you know, fit in with people like that. And then with the complete slack offs, I also was right in the middle of that too. So I mean, I kind of, you know, even the drama guy, whatever, you know, I just kind of flowed through everybody.
Yeah, and you know what? I think most decent people did.
Yeah.
Or could do that. You know, the problem is in high school and things like that, you have undeveloped. We'll just say I won't say they're undecent, just undeveloped people, insecure, a lot of insecurity
Right.
in high school, and that's fine. We all had that to an extent at some point in our lives, anyway.
Yeah, remember, I mean, I grew up in Newcastle, so it was like we had one school from
Right.
K to 12 the whole time, you know, for
You
most of all
knew
my
everybody.
yes, yeah,
And
yeah.
everybody, yeah, you know, Graham is like that, but Newcastle, it's like, well, like Woodson.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, you would
just
relate to that.
concentrated.
Yeah, yeah.
You know everybody, you know all their families, and you don't have a choice to who you're around.
That's what I was gonna say is like you don't really have many options there. You kind of have to coexist. Like there's really
Yeah,
not
for
much choice. You have to learn how to coexist unless you just want to be completely outcasted, completely 100%.
Oh no, and that's what it is, because you
and it's
get
like,
one person and their whole family.
Yes.
All their friends, and that's over. That's 3/4 of the town.
There you go.
You don't get invited to barbecues anymore. Bummer. Okay, anyway, so yeah, that was my first impression. Oh, so that same VHS, when you would rent the movies from the library, it was $1 for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Dude, every 2 weeks, I would just go in there with another $1. And I kept it for probably a year, if not more. Bro, I financed it or I leased it out, you know, because it's not like you could just go buy that movie somewhere. Walmart didn't have it.
No.
And if they had it, it would have been $20, $30, you know.
True.
I didn't have that money. You know, I didn't have a job. So, but I had $1. I
Had
could
a
come up with
dollar.
$1 every 2 weeks.
$1 every 2 weeks. Yeah.
And I watched that so much. There was a part where the audio dropped, and I was so used to it. To this day, when I watch it, in my mind, I hear that audio drop right there because the tape.
Which part was it?
It's the part where the junior high kids are escaping the school.
Oh, okay.
And one of them, Mitch drops his books, and
Okay.
Hirschfelder picks them up.
Yeah.
It's right there. I think it's School's Out for Summer's playing.
Yeah.
And it just kind of does this thing, and I hear it to this day. I would love to have that VHS. Anybody out there, if you have the VHS copy from the Graham Library, I don't know why, but I would love to get it from you. I will pay you what it's worth, which is not a lot. You know?
Well,
Eat some Whataburger or something, man.
There you go.
Straight up. If anybody has that in an old clamshell, because they would cut the
yeah.
they would cut the cardboard and then shove it in the
Oh,
plastic
gotcha.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great stuff. That's great. I miss that. Wait, no, I don't miss that library. It's still over there.
It's somewhere in this town.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know if you want to go do a cast still, or if you just want to start with the movie. I mean, because this cast is there's some names that are known. There's some that just have disappeared into oblivion. It seems like.
Yeah, and before you start naming those, there's actually. Have you ever seen the people that were almost in it? Like, I got some notes here. I know that Brendan Fraser, he was almost in it, but he didn't want to play high school anymore. He'd done Encino Man.
Oh, okay.
He was very close to it. Some of the people on the casting sheets that got callbacks that were in the runnings, names, I put down some names. Will Wheaton, Ashley Judd. There's actually I know a story about Ashley Judd and anyway, this thing here nor there. Hilary Swank, Mark Ruffalo was almost in it. Somebody that auditioned but didn't get a callback, Jared Leto. Claire Danes, they thought she was great, but she was too young, they said.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she wanted to be in it.
Okay.
Also other names, Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Elizabeth Berkley, Denise Richards, Alicia Silverstone, Christian Durst, whatever. Vince Vaughn was almost Benny.
Really?
Yeah, he read for Benny and O'Banion. Maybe he was almost O'Banion. Huh. He read for both, but he was almost one of them.
Okay.
And I don't know why that didn't work out. But yeah, so anyway, not only do you have a bunch of, well, at least a handful of great actors that came out of this that started the career. It didn't really start anybody's career. It's just their first movie. Because you got to remember, this movie, it's classic, but it flopped.
Right.
In theaters. It flopped hard. And a lot of that had to do with the way it was promoted and pushed and stuff. They in typical Hollywood fashion. And this is also, remember, this is Linklater's first major movie. So he didn't have as much control.
Okay.
He gave him crap, dude.
Yeah.
He like, people were like, you're ruining your career. Because the way he wouldn't play ball with them so much.
Didn't ruin his career by ball. He's made some fantastic movies.
You got to really give it up to Linklater, because this guy, he really has done it his way. He's done the movies. I haven't seen all his movies. Some of them don't really appeal to me.
Yeah.
I will probably watch them just because they're his movies.
Yeah.
But he's wrote movies about himself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And in the way he wanted to. And then, like we talked about, Boyhood.
Yes.
Filmed over 12 years.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that movie, that it was going to be shot, or either they had started recording, or they had either started filming, or they were going to film it. And I knew Ethan Hawke was in it, and then some other kid, and they were going to be growing up. And then Patricia Arquette, seeing her, I just watched Boyhood a couple weeks ago. And the last thing I saw her in was Severance on Apple TV, and it's recent, like it's just filmed recently. And then seeing her from so many years ago, it's like it's almost unrecognizable.
Really?
Yeah. So she looks of course, aged.
But think about Nightmare 3, her playing Christian in it. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warrior, such a great horror movie, such a great sequel. That is what a sequel is meant to be. I'll make a video talking about that one day, but that's not this. Yeah, so Linklater, and another thing, that's Boyhood, the movie we're talking about. If you don't know, that's a movie they shot over 12 years. 12 years to make that movie. Like, they would film it, this act, and then they would put it away, and then they would wait X amount of years and come back and film the next act. And so it's really interesting. Like,
why you have the exact same actors playing through the entire movie. And is that his daughter, or
it is.
Okay, because I looked on the cast and I was like, she has the same last name, and it's not a common last name at all. And so it doesn't seem to be. I've never heard of anyone else with it personally.
She's in one of his other projects. I don't remember what it is now. Like, and I had to put it together because you had said that at one point. But yeah, so, and also Linklater, we got to go back in time a little bit to his first movie.
Slacker.
Slacker. Yeah, slacker.
Slackers.
Slacker.
Slacker.
Plural. I think it's plural.
Slackers.
Slacker.
Slackers with an S would be plural.
No, that's more than one. Wait, it's plural?
Plural
Singular.
means more than
Singular
one.
and plural.
Singular. Slacker. Singular.
Sorry, I didn't.
It's okay. Yeah, slacker. Yeah, no, you're right about
Okay,
that.
right on. Anyway, regardless, his first
And that's
movie,
him in the first scene in the cab.
In the cab.
Okay. Yeah.
Talking about, man, should have stayed at the bus stop.
The alternate reality.
He
That's pretty
generally-
cool, though.
Well, at some point he was supposed to do cameo. He was supposed to do a cameo in Dazed and Confused, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
ended up just scrapping it.
Yeah.
You know, because he just
Bored.
it was a weird scene too.
Probably felt forced or something.
Well, it was just a lot of this. They wanted to cut a lot of this movie as he was making it. Like
Yeah.
he was constantly fighting the producer, Jim Jones or Jim Jack. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
But he was constantly fighting him about stuff. You know, like example, the after the baseball scene, the good game.
Mhm.
You know, like I remember seeing that and thinking like, oh yeah, never seen that in a movie before. You do that.
Yeah.
You know, that is an important part. They wanted it. They were like, that makes no sense. You don't need that. He had to fight to shoot that scene.
That's after every baseball game.
Exactly. And that was his thing. He's like, no. And they're like, no, people won't care. And it's like,
It adds more just to the.
it makes you relate to it.
Yes,
You'd be like,
like,
this is
if you-
authentic.
If you played baseball, then that was just part of it.
Yeah. Oh, even
I
if you
mean,
were losing,
yeah,
good
yeah,
game.
yeah.
That's what you did. Then you got pizza,
Yeah.
or whatever. So he actually had to there was some way that he did that, like, to distract the producer or something while he did it, or something to that thing, and the producer not happy about it. But anyway, it's a lot of little tidbits like that. But so Slacker is actually, for anybody to know, Slacker is the movie that made Kevin Smith of Clerks fame and everything want to make movies. Like that's the movie he saw and was like, I want to do that. I want to make movies.
Was it 87 or 89 or 80? It's a
80.
late 80s. It's a late 80s film, and it's interesting. It's different.
Yeah, it's a study.
Yeah, I enjoyed it though, and it's not based around a single character.
No, it's what you call a pass the baton movie, where it goes from like character to character, and it stays interesting for that. Sometimes you want it to go back and but
Yeah, there's a couple characters you'd like to revisit.
yeah,
but
so it's definitely worth a watch. That is, but I do knowing that it's sort of like to Kevin Smith that it was his Clerks
Mhm.
was that, and then like Mallrats and Dazed are kind of in that same world too. There's more
Okay.
and obviously there's more than one connection
Yes.
between the two.
Yes.
Casting and whatnot.
Right.
And we can talk more about that as we go.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway,
Speaking of the cast,
yeah. Okay, back to the cast. Yeah.
Jason London
Uh-huh.
as Randall Pink Floyd
Yeah. Twin brother was in Mallrats.
was in Mallrats. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
No, and he's great in this. He definitely looks
Jeremy.
like- yeah.
Jeremy was his. Yeah, this is his brother. Yeah.
Yeah. A sad thing about him, about this movie, why a couple reasons you didn't see a lot of him after this was because he thought for once that he was going to be Richard's guy.
Mhm.
He's going to be Linklater's guy. They were going to do a bunch of things together, but Linklater meant Ethan Hawke. So that went the way.
Oh,
But however, tragically, his sister died right after they made this movie,
okay.
and he just kind of quit caring. Him and his brother both. So if you kind of thought like why the London brothers weren't bigger,
Yeah.
that had a huge thing to do with it. She was
That's a
only
shame.
16 and died in a car wreck.
Mm.
And he said for him, Dazed was hard to watch because he's like, when we were filming this movie, my sister was alive.
Oh,
And
okay.
right after it, she was gone. So it's like Dazed is almost that while my sister was alive,
Yeah.
my sister's dead,
Gotcha.
kind of thing. So he just like, he just quit caring about his career and
Gotcha.
whatnot. I mean, he still did some stuff, but
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. That's got to be terrible.
yeah, well, that also, okay. Then I'm not trying to be downer, but there's going to be a couple of those things.
What about Mitch?
Oh, yeah. Mitch, what's that?
Wiley Wiggins?
Yeah.
That's a heck of a name.
Oh, that's a great name. So like, it's weird when an actor's character name is more normal than their real name. I assume that's the part Will Wheaton was going after.
Okay.
It's the only thing that really makes sense. Like, okay, so Mitch, there's this. There's some people that hate that character.
It's frustrating sometimes. That character is frustrating sometimes.
Well, it's the nose touching. It's so much nose touching. Like, I don't know. I think it was Tater was just like, I can't stand that kid.
Yeah, there's several scenes where it's like this acting is good. It's
heard,
just like, and it's just because of the constant, like I don't know what I don't know who told him that.
One of the things was he had just gotten his hair. He used to wear his hair like in front of his face, like I guess it was a style. Sorry about that, but like kind of emo. Like emo wasn't a thing then. But,
Yeah.
and so he just got his hair changed where it wasn't in his face. And
Okay.
it was. I think it was kind of that, just not being there.
Oh,
If that
okay.
makes sense.
Just
I don't know.
used to it being there. It's
It's a
completely
weird
different.
a weird little tick. But watching this movie like first time, I really kind of related with Mitch and stuff. But watching it the most recent viewing, I was like, what a kid!
Right.
I was like, that is a little kid.
Yes.
and it kind of made some scenes different for me, like him, like just him partying and stuff. I'm like, he's a kid.
Yes. Yes, very much so. He even looks like one.
Yeah. No, he looks like a child. His friends look older than he does.
That's true.
But I think they said Richard Linklater was very protective over him, making that stuff. Obviously, because Tatum was a 14-year-old version. One of the things they asked him when he got the movies, he could play baseball. Because, there's that scene.
Yeah.
And he said he could, but he had never touched a baseball in his life. So they actually had to, for that scene, get a stunt double to throw the ball. He couldn't throw. He couldn't throw it to home plate from first. He couldn't throw. He couldn't catch. Linklater was like, you don't know how to play baseball. So Linklater was a baseball player.
Yeah.
That was his thing.
Well, you have Mitch as a baseball player, and Everybody Wants Some.
Yeah, it's all about baseball.
About a baseball team.
That is, it's like we've said before, the spiritual successor to Dazed and Confused. It's basically Everybody Wants Some. You can, in a sense, it could almost be Mitch is the main character, or Pink for that matter. It lines up with Mitch, age-wise, but it's a very much a Pink character there too, which they're both stand-ins for Richard Linklater.
Really, seriously, go check it out. Do yourself a favor and watch it. Just give it a chance.
Yeah, remember how you didn't know about Dazed and Confused?
Yeah, just give it a chance. I mean, because I was like, I don't know, dude, and I just wanted to check it out, and I wound up watching it a couple of times, like back to back. So like, it's worth checking out.
I got your joke right here.
You just call it a joke? Please so.
Yes, that's what Willie. I've seen him in a couple other things. He had small roles. Didn't really chase the whole acting thing.
I was gonna say I don't remember personally ever seeing him in anything else.
Okay. He was in Love and 45. He's in the beginning of that movie. He plays a clerk at a gas station that gets robbed. That's the only part I remember of that movie. And there's that film. Remember that movie I told you about, Waking Life? Another Richard Linklater.
I still haven't seen that.
No, I know.
Okay.
Because you'd be like, dude, I'll watch that.
Yeah. No, I haven't. Okay.
But he's in that too. I think he's one of the main. That's a weird movie. It's really weird to watch. It's a weird watch.
Okay.
It's provocative.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's a weird watch.
Okay.
So I'll just say he's in it. I'm not going to be like, what's he play or whatever.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain.
Okay.
Also shot in Austin.
Well, or I don't know about Austin, but I know like even Everybody Wants Some, Slacker also.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's where Linklater, that's where he came up. It's hard to explain. But Austin is like the closest thing I think to in LA or something. It's real weird because I've never been.
Yeah, Austin is the most liberal part of Texas. Like it is the most liberal city in Texas. It's about as close to California as you can get in Texas.
That's funny. Somebody, I won't go into details, was telling me how somebody they knew had moved from Texas to New Jersey because they were very liberal and had an alternative lifestyle, and they were scared for their safety down here. I was like, why didn't they just move to Austin?
Go to Austin, yeah.
I was like, you don't have to go to They just wanted to live in Jersey.
There's a reason why they say keep Austin weird or something like that.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Keep Austin weird. And then now they say keep that weird stuff in Austin.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah, it's honestly like Austin's not bad to visit, but I sure as heck would not want to live there.
I wouldn't want to drive there. That's like
I've a long drive.
Austin. It's not.
Yeah,
I've had some fun. I'll get to that. As a matter of fact, that relates to this film and stuff. All right, well, let's move forward with this cast because it's long.
Okay, Wooderson,
the breakout role of the movie, man. All right,
none other than Mr. Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, too bad he didn't do much after this.
I know it'd have been nice to have seen him in at least one or two other movies.
Bro, I did not know that. I did not put the connection. He's not the only actor I did this with either. That Wooderson was Matthew McConaughey. Like, I don't think I knew who Matthew McConaughey was when I saw this because
I didn't know.
he didn't really hit till like 97 or something.
Yeah, it
You
went
know,
into
A
the
Time
late
to Kill or
90s.
something like that, where he was a lawyer. And, he wasn't, but even after knowing who Matthew McConaughey was, I didn't make the connection that he was Wooderson. That's how good he did. And there's a lot to, okay, originally, I could talk about this guy for a minute. I'll try to give the compact version.
Okay.
So, originally, he was I think he was gonna be a lawyer, but he didn't want to be a lawyer and decided he wanted to get into acting. But because a lot of people, there's kind of this idea that he was just sitting on a bar stool one day and a producer was like, "You should be in movies." It's like, no, he knew this guy was going to be there and stuff. But so he was anyway. Wooderson, it was supposed to be a really small part. Like originally, he was a different character too.
So if you haven't seen it, Wooderson is not a small
No,
role.
he steals every scene he's in, and maybe the most quotable character. Him and Slater are pretty neck and neck.
Yeah, they're pretty much right there together.
And that's another thing about this movie. To me, this movie is there could be so many spin-off movies from this movie. I could watch a whole movie about like Slater and Wooderson, or a whole movie about even like a Clint, him and his people, like everybody in there, the kids, the junior high kids. I could watch a whole thing about them, It's like, it's too bad. I think the ball really got dropped here. But, a lot of this stuff, like another thing about Richard Linklater is he doesn't make everybody totally stick to the script. He loved for people to improv and stuff. And he did say, making this movie, some of the roles got bigger because they were good at improvising and some got smaller because they weren't. Because there are characters that were supposed to be in this movie more. Some roles got cut down. They were supposed to be bigger and they just weren't. Obviously, he was one that got more and more and more. And in some ways, he saved the movie too. And I'll get to that in a little bit because one of the actors, actually a couple actors, quit the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's I'll get into that.
Were they featured in it, or?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
they're
major characters, or meant to be.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Well, they're kind of since they're neck and neck in the most quotables. We'll go ahead and go to Slater. Rory Cochran.
Yeah. You know what's also funny about these characters? They have first and last names.
Yes, they do.
And a lot of them are based on real people.
Yeah.
And in fact, there was a bit of a lawsuit.
I was gonna say, didn't he get into a little bit of trouble over?
Yeah.
Was it over Slater?
I think he was the main one.
I think it was,
because he has like the real Slater has like a swimming pool business or something, and he's like, "Do you think people want to buy a pool for that guy?" In freaking Dazed and Confused, the highest of them all. Yeah, there were those guys though. They regretted even trying to sue him over it though. They made their peace or whatever.
Especially now. I mean, I don't know. What's the point?
Some people love the fact that they were in it,
That's kind of what I was thinking. Is like, dude, I got to buy my pool from Slater.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like you're not thinking right here.
It's
brother.
like promote that. Like your PR needs to shift towards using that.
Yeah, well, like some of the people, a couple of the guys that were in Slacker, that they didn't know that movie had happened, and they were like, they walked by and they saw it at the theater, and they're like, "Are we in that?" Like, yeah, like we ought to stay out here, and when people come out, we ought to be like, "Hey, we were in there. Give me money."
It's like, you want to take a picture? $5.
So they were all like talking about it. They're like, "Yeah, we didn't do it."
Simone.
Oh yeah, Simone.
Joey Lauren Adams.
Oh yeah, Joey Lauren Adams, man.
Let's see. Mallrats is the first thing that I really remember her from.
Yeah, that because
pretty memorable.
Which again, there's a connection.
Yes,
Mallrats, and Mallrats, and plus she dated Kevin Smith. Did you know that?
I don't think I knew that.
She did. She dated Kevin Smith, and they ended up breaking up because he was so insecure about her past relationships.
Really?
Yeah, about her being cool with her old boyfriends and how she was never jealous of him and stuff. So, and he made a script and called Chasing Amy and put her in the movie. But that just shows you how cool they are. That she said he would write that. He would write Chasing Amy after they'd have a fight. He'd go there and start, writing lines and scenes and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
that's got to be a little weird.
Yeah, but it's like, what better? She sees the whole movie as an apology.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Okay, I can see that, I guess.
Yeah. But no, yeah, she, and it's funny that there's another actress that they get confused for sometimes in Renee Zellweger. But I only know that because, like, I think Renee Zellweger. No, I'm thinking Renee Zellweger and Jewel. It was when Renee Zellweger said, like, I know this musician is very loved because I'm constantly asked for her autograph. You know? So I'm sorry, to me, Joey Lauren Adams, and there's a connection in my head for that. But the fun thing about Renee Zellweger, Wagger, do you know what I'm going to say here?
I'm just hearing you say Wigger.
Well, we got about it. Renee Zellweger.
What?
You know her connection to Dazed and Confused?
No.
She's in it.
Really?
Renee Zellweger's in this film. She's an extra.
Okay.
They wanted her for more.
Yeah.
But then they were cast the part for her, and they said, "Hey, we'll still bring you in as an extra." And her agent was like, "Don't do that. Don't go." She's like, "You know what? There's no small role. I'll take it."
Right.
So the time where you can really see her best is at the beer bust, at the party at the Moon Tower.
Yeah.
Parker Posey's character is being funneled a beverage.
Yeah.
She's the one holding the funnel.
Oh,
Yeah. So next
okay.
time you watch it, when you revisit it, check that out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's totally that's her.
My dad accused me of stealing a funnel one time, and I was still in high school. I didn't drink beer back then. I didn't even know, and I was like, "Why would I steal a funnel?" Like, it's like, well, maybe one of your friends stole it. I'm like, why the hell would they steal a funnel? I'm like,
changing oil
why would? Yeah, I'm like, why would they steal a funnel? And I just didn't even get it. It wasn't until I didn't drink beer until nothing.
Yeah.
I was way after 21.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
You didn't start drinking until after 21. That's strange.
Yeah.
You know, I got some friends that they're real straight edge their whole lives.
I wasn't straight edge.
No, alcohol was foreign to you. Like that, you're like, I skipped all that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I went to the advance. Anyway, that's so like no, they were straight edge all their lives. Didn't drink, smoke, or cuss. Had no intention of drinking. They were we're never gonna drink. And then they didn't start drinking until they were like in their 30s. And I was like, you know what? That's probably how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, instead of abusing it between the ages of
right and
15 and
they're moderate drinkers.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's okay. But it also goes to show you, just because somebody doesn't drink doesn't make them a prude or nothing. They just haven't got around to it.
Right. Give them time.
Yeah,
maybe
it could be it could be done healthy. No, I don't know how to. I'm an idiot. It's, all sorts of stuff like intake. Food, drink, whatever. Working on that.
That's one thing. I've kind of mastered the booze intake. I don't twice a year I imbibe.
Yeah.
Well, I did have that one off for the Hulk Hogan beer.
Yeah,
I wanted to try it.
Hulk Hogan beer.
I wanted to try it. I mean, it tasted good.
Yeah, it's good beer.
It was
Get
good.
yourself real American beer if you're of age.
Yeah, it was tasty. Okay, let's move on to and I didn't even recognize her, Mila Jovovich, as Michelle, as Pickford's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't until Fifth Element that I knew her really, and then going back, I was like, wait a second, hold on. It's like that's Fifth Element girl. Wait.
Yeah, she was the only name in this movie. She had done Return to the Blue Lagoon, and she'd done some modeling.
Okay.
So she was known.
Yeah.
And she. Okay, since we're here, is one of the actors that was meant to be in the movie a lot more. This is a whole thing. I got to talk about it for a minute, or we could do the cast scene and then I can come back.
Yeah, let's go ahead and run through the cast because
I got to talk about her and Shawn Andrews.
So like right after, let's just go to her boyfriend Pickford.
Shawn Andrews.
Shawn Andrews. So there they are together.
Here's the thing about Shawn Andrews. You never saw him in anything else, after this, right?
Mm.
Okay, he apparently was the biggest piece of trash in this movie.
Oh,
he
really?
was the most hated actor. I like the Pickford character.
Yeah.
He's all right. He was supposed to be a lot more in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Him and her, Mila, are the ones that quit toward the end of making the movie because they would write scenes. And Linklater, he supported that. He's like, please everybody write scenes. Let's hear them. Let's do them.
Right.
We'll put them in if they're good, if they're not, whatever. But they had written some stuff that they wanted him to do, and he, for whatever reasons, was not doing it. And they locked themselves in the bathroom and stuff, and they ended up quitting. Now, Shawn Andrews was 22, I think, at the time.
Okay.
Mila was 16.
Okay.
Yeah, and they had a adult relationship going on.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty sketchy anyway, because 16 and 22, they actually eloped and got married after this.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
But her mom had it annulled.
Okay.
But anyway, some of the stuff about Shawn Andrews, and they said basically Mila would have been so much better in this if she hadn't got with Shawn. Because after that, if they asked her something or told her something, she would look at Shawn and say, "What do you think of that?"
Especially with her being so young.
Yeah, and now Shawn Andrews is going around already telling everybody how he's the next big star, that this is going to be his movie.
Gotcha.
He's the breakthrough. He was taking his bed sheets from the hotel and cutting them into strips and selling them to people for $20 a piece, saying, seriously, this is real. This is documented. He would sell them and say, hey, I'm about to be the biggest star in the world. You want this, $20.
A hotel sheet.
Yeah, I know, but it was his sheets, I guess he thought, because he would ask people, they said he'd be like, hey, who's your favorite actor? He'd say it, somebody go, I don't know, Robert De Niro. He's like, well, just remember, it's going to be me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he considered himself the next Marlon.
Did he not think to be like, would you buy a strip of Robert De Niro's bed sheet?
He may have, I don't know, but he was very.
Would you? I mean, not today, I wouldn't,
No.
but I mean,
well, I don't know. Some people, the people collect everything. Like I got this whole other theory about that, but I don't want to get into it. I want to talk a little. We could probably do a whole podcast on what a piece of trash Shawn Andrews was making this movie. It finally got to a head when Jeremy London the first story I heard was Jeremy London did punch him.
Oh, yeah.
When they were filming, this one of the classroom scenes, because Shawn would sit there with a rubber ball and bounce it while people were doing scenes. He would walk through people's scenes while they were doing it. He would turn on music while they were doing scenes. He would change lines. He would never. They said he could never do the same thing twice. And he would, like, they were doing something like, okay, we want everybody sitting around here, and he's like, well, I wouldn't be sitting there with y'all. I would be over here. It's like, well, then you're not in the scene if you'd be over there. And he's like, well, that's what's true to my character. And Linklater said he does believe that Shawn cared about his relationship with him, but Shawn didn't care about his relationship with anybody else. He was way too off in his own head, and he would sit there and stare at himself in the mirror and flex his abs and play with his hair.
Is that why his shirt has to be open?
Yeah.
In that?
Yeah. And he had, when they cast him, he had longer hair.
Yeah.
And they were like, we love your hair. Because that was a big thing. They were trying to find people with long hair too, because it's the 70s. And so when he shows up, he'd cut his hair to that short. And right away, they're like, Dad, what are you doing?
Right.
There's another thing for the publicity photos. Have you ever seen the yearbook photos of Dazed?
I think I have, but it's been a while.
Yeah, there used to be a book. I had it. And it was like the yearbook.
I want to say one of my old roommates had one.
Right on. But if you look, I always thought it was weird because in the class picture, Shawn Andrews Pickford has a cigarette in his mouth. And I'm like, who takes a yearbook picture with a cigarette? He would refuse to take the cigarette out of his mouth. He's like, no, my character would have a cigarette right here. So you could see that picture and he's got the cigarette. It's just like that. He was just complicated and he drug Mila down with him.
Okay.
So that's why she's on the poster. They were meant to be in it a lot more.
Yeah.
In fact, the final scene on the football field, the only reason Wooderson's in that is because Pickford was gone at that point. He was supposed to be in that.
Oh, okay.
There's this whole sub
it
story
worked
too
out.
that got cut. Oh yeah,
it's kind of weird that he's there, but of course this whole him even hanging out with the high school kids is already kind of weird anyway.
Well, yeah.
But, I mean, I guess it does work because he does wind up driving them.
That was supposed to be Pickford also.
Okay.
They were supposed to go to Houston. Everything that they took away from Shawn, they gave to Matthew McConaughey, and that's one of the reasons that you get the standout character of freaking Wooderson.
Okay,
and also Wooderson
worked out for McConaughey.
Yeah, he was meant to be a creepy character. Wooderson was supposed to be an older, greasy guy.
Okay,
and he does some of his lines are.
Yes, he's got some very.
But it's just so everybody loved him so much, and he was just such a charming guy.
Yes.
This is his first movie.
He oozes charm.
Oh yeah,
he just sweats charm. You're like, dang,
it's Matthew McConaughey. Man.
Yeah, I know.
And even though he had this kind of weird haircut and did this droopy eye thing, and
his hair is like that. I never really thought about it before until I was watching it again last night, and I was just like, his hair's terrible.
Yeah,
like it's terrible. It's just not good.
That's why I didn't recognize him for a while.
Good. Yeah, no.
And then if you look, it intentionally did like this droopy eye kind of
Especially nowadays, you see him and he just looks so perfectly put together, yeah.
Well, they would say that like when people would first meet Matthew McConaughey's like this guy walks in, it's like, and he's so beautiful, you hate it. You hate it. He's got the hottest girl in the bar on his arm, and then he talks, and he's so cool. And you're like, I hate him, but I love him. See, Sid's falling apart here. Makeup. Why would you need makeup?
I was gonna say if someone shows up with makeup, it's be like, dude, you're in the wrong place.
Okay, sorry, I gotta reopen my notes. All right, let's move forward. We'll come back to
Mike.
Oh yeah, Adam Goldberg.
Adam Goldberg.
Right. You know, he was up for Brody in Mallrats.
Oh,
He
really?
was almost Brody until Jason Lee stepped in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
got some
like
more tidbits about Jason Lee too.
I like Jason Lee.
Yeah. No, let's see. The other thing I think of of Adam Goldberg, there's this movie I like a lot called Higher Learning. You ever seen that? Lawrence Fishburne, Ice Cube.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in it. He plays the Jewish roommate of to Michael Rappaport's Nazi Remy,
Yeah.
which Remy becomes a Nazi because of another actor that's in this, and we'll get to him. No,
Okay.
it's all connected.
Is it Anthony Rapp by chance?
No.
Okay, that's Tony.
Tony, I like
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah, I like Tony.
Tony and Mike were real guys.
Oh,
They
yeah?
were those are Linklater's friends.
Okay.
And that's why he was like, no, those characters are shout outs to those
Yeah.
guys. And even though it was funny, Adam
Did
Goldberg,
Mike really get his face punched in?
did he really get in a fight like that? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if
Okay.
that's a real story or
wonder.
not. But we'll talk about the fight when we get to
Okay.
it. But
Tony.
what's the thing about those guys is they said they didn't realize they were kind of playing the geeks, but I don't think of them as geeks.
I can see it, but I don't know. I get it. Like I get those guys because I might have been those guys at some point, but I know those guys. Like that's yeah.
Yeah, no, maybe Tony a little bit, but he's
Yeah,
like
but
that
especially
aware
the way that he
geek.
talks, and then, like whenever they're sitting there, he's like, "Well, we were just wondering why someone like you would participate in something like this," and da da da. And it's like, yeah, well, I don't know. I've had those same thoughts.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and also like I like that when he's like, McCarthyism, I like that. And he's like, that's
yeah.
good, Tony. Like just quote that. I mean, that's buddies right there. But like Anthony Rapp, first thing I ever saw him in was Adventures in Babysitting. Did you watch
Okay.
that movie?
I don't know if I have or not.
He I forget his character's name right now. I'll remember it later. But no, he's great in that. He's annoying. He's like the annoying neighbor kid that goes with them. Redheaded in that. He's the guy. Anthony Rapp's the guy that came out about against that actor Kevin Spacey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the one that he's like, yeah, when I was underage, Kevin Spacey tried to
Oh, wow.
take me to his bedroom
Oh,
and stuff.
okay.
But we don't talk about Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Why can't people just be halfway decent?
Well, because they're celebrities and they're rich. And I mean, it's the same thing, not to go on, but the thing, people, when they're talking about this stuff with Diddy, what this, that, and then I'm like, yeah, of course. It's like he sold his soul to entertainment. It's like, that's what lust is, what he has. And you're going to push further and further and further. I'm sure. Like, no. No Diddy.
Yeah, no Diddy.
No Diddy. You know
No
what
Diddy.
they said though? Recently, like he liked applesauce on his cheeseburgers, and that really grossed everybody out. I'm
It's
like,
disgusting.
yeah, I'm like, of all the stuff that he's done, you've heard some of that stuff he's done.
Yes,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
They're like grossed out about it. I was like, that doesn't okay. I'll take a cheeseburger with applesauce over
No,
some of that other.
well, yeah, I mean, yes, definitely. But I don't know, just thinking about
Yeah.
dripping.
Nope, let's not.
Yeah.
Nobody looks at Baby Will the same.
All right. Dawson.
Ah, yeah,
Tasha
Don.
Jensen.
Yeah.
Don Dawson.
Yeah, I like that character a lot, man.
I like Don. He's like he knows who like he's such a like he seems so sweet in a way, but also stupid, but also at the same time he knows how to play play his little role in things, take advantage of the situation and such. We see that several times whenever he like punks the nerdy kids at the very beginning of the movie, and then later on whenever he runs everybody off. It's the cops.
Yeah, no, he wanted to play that character like a complete slob.
Yeah,
he said he wanted he only because he's wearing overalls at the beginning.
Yeah, no, they got paint all
and
over
stuff.
them. Yeah,
He wanted to wear that throughout the entire movie, and he's like, by the end of the movie, I wanted to be like Pigpen. I just wanted to be dirty and nasty. He's like, but they didn't go that route. But it's there.
Yeah,
it's.
I always wondered why there was like paint on the overalls and stuff. Like it's on the front and the back.
Yeah, but that's the thing though about Don though. He's also you could tell he's a good friend.
Yeah,
his interactions with Pink.
Well, like their whole little group. I mean, obviously they bonded through sports, through football and stuff like that. But you know, like they knew each other well enough and they knew where they stood with each other. They knew how far the person was going to go. Like the whole time you're like, the guys knew how Pink was going to act. And then at the very end, you get Benny getting all sour, but still it's
Right.
like, they already knew it's like, he's not going to put up with this stuff. Like,
Right.
it's
Well, he's like, you're gonna make
he's
a big deal of this,
like,
aren't you?
you're going to make a big deal.
And I
Yep.
like that whenever Dawn, I know this is the ending and we'll get there, but when Dawn's like, so that's that? And he's like, yeah. And he's like,
All right.
nods. It's like,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
You know?
He's like, just want to double check. We're good.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
I mean,
that's
and
it.
that's
Okay.
where I think I relate most to Dawn.
Yeah.
It's like, because I like to be that kind of friend that it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't agree with you, but that's your choice. I got your back.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I can see
Wish
that.
you had done something different, but it ain't about me.
Right.
You know? It's like, it's okay to be disappointed.
It's really a good characteristic to have, really, as far as just being like, okay, it's like, all right, well,
Yeah. Because,
it doesn't change the fact that I love you. It doesn't change the fact that we're friends. It doesn't change that. It's just like, okay, well, that's what it is. Okay.
It's okay to be disappointed in something. You just got to know that if you're not the main factor, if it's not about you,
Yeah.
then you got to, it's not about you.
Right.
It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to say, like, if a couple of your friends break up,
Right.
it's like, hey, we're splitting up. And it's like, okay, that sucks, but it's y'all's business. You know? It's like, that's your decision. That affects you way more than me,
Marissa Risby played Cynthia.
Cynthia, yeah.
Love me some Reddits.
So, she's actually, her family's kind of famous. She put on 10 pounds for that role.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they wanted her to look a little bit more normal, because she apparently is very attractive, So, I mean, don't get me wrong. She doesn't look like, she's a big girl.
No.
But she did that. How her brother's famous actor too. Giovanni Ribisi. That's her brother.
Oh, it's like Mod
Mod
Squad.
Squad.
Yeah.
He was in a Linklater film too, Suburbia.
Okay.
Yeah, that's her brother. I didn't know that for a long
Oh,
time.
he did Suburbia? Good gosh, man. He's got a lot of fantastic movies.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just don't even realize.
I know. Freaking School of Rock. Linklater did School of Rock.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's another funny when we talk about the soundtrack, but which you have to talk about the soundtrack if you're talking about Dazed and Confused. You got to talk about the actors, the cars, the soundtrack. Anyway, I'll tell you something about her. So she was 17. Her boyfriend, who was over 18, was actually her legal guardian while they made this. Came down with her instead of her parents and stuff.
Okay.
But he wasn't an actor. He's a famous skateboarder. Might have heard of him. His name is Jason Lee. Jason Lee was on set the entire movie. This entire movie. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
He has a line in the movie.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you when we get to it.
All right. You're
It's
going
like,
to have to.
So,
Wow.
And then, of course, the connection there of him being cast. So you got to think all roads lead to Kevin Smith at this point.
That's kind of what it's looking like with Linklater to Smith.
Well, yeah, Kevin Smith kind of walked through the doors Linklater kicked down, or sort of thing. So I mean, it's like if you're a Kevin Smith fan, you don't like these Linklater movies, you still have to appreciate them,
Very
But you
least.
probably do like them.
More than likely.
I do. So yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was really neat, and I don't know when, but also who's that director from Texas, Wes Anderson?
Yeah, Wes Anderson.
Him and one of the Owen brothers snuck on the set of this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, they got kicked off and stuff. But it's just, again,
I like Wes Anderson.
Yeah, now he can walk on any movie set he wants. But then him with the Owen brother, I can't remember if it was Luke or Owen. I think it was Luke. Snuck on there. It's like it's crazy that whole Texas movie community.
All right, let's move to Michelle Burke played Jody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
sister.
role. That's the role that they made all the females audition for. And that's why there was actually a lot of animosity against her because she's the one that got it. Now the guys read for whatever roles.
Yeah.
Or maybe they all read for Pink, but they kind of played around with it. But all the girls, they made them feel like that's the role they had to get.
Oh, okay.
So there really is a lot of jealousy, against her. That scene where Parker Posey, they're in the car and she's like, what'd she say about us? I know you hang out. Those two actor girls, they wrote that scene.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's about her.
Okay, so you've got them, and then you've got Simone in the middle, and then because I think that's funny though, because it's like she called you a bee and you a slut.
Yeah.
Like she said, what? You said you weren't. I said, you said you weren't gonna get mad. I'm not mad.
That is so real, too. That is so real. Somebody, that same thing, and people say, no, just tell me, I won't get mad, and then they get mad, and you're like, I thought you were getting mad. They're like, I'm not.
It's like, I swear,
that's
I'm not.
real. That's like the slapping at the baseball game. It's just real. It's genuine.
Cole Hauser.
Cole freaking Hauser.
I know, right? Benny.
Benny, a higher learning. He played the Nazi that got Michael Rappaport. Yeah. You ever shoot a person before? Better yet, you ever shoot a piece of meat? I love the way he talks. He's very influenced by I don't know that I see this, but by Christopher Walken.
Okay.
You know, just like Adam Goldberg was very influenced by Woody Allen for his role.
Okay,
You know?
I can see
Yeah.
that.
But I'm
Right,
like,
the neurotic Jew.
so Cole Hauser, was this your first time you ever saw him in anything?
Probably, yes.
Yeah, I like it. Did when it probably was too, but he's also in Pitch Black. Diesel,
Okay.
another great role, and then but the role that he is going to go down, that's going to be his definitive role, I believe, that everybody's going to remember him for and know him for. None other than Rick in Yellowstone. The whole reason I wore this shirt today.
I was wondering that. I was like, yeah, that is
Cole
Rip.
Hauser,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't make me say
Yeah.
it. Dude, and the fact that that's him, like, I watched that show and
My dad's the one that told me, he's like, you know, that's Benny, right? And I was like,
really,
I said, what? And he's like, Dazed and Confused. That's Benny. I was like, oh, for real? Okay.
I saw some meme or something that said, like, this is how y'all know Cole Hauser, and this is how I know him. And it was a picture of Benny. I was like, oh! It's like, no. Yeah, oh my gosh, Rip. And he's like the favorite character from that show, too. You know, he's just great.
Yeah, he's definitely one of
So,
the biggest characters.
yeah, but now there's a little bit of nepotism with him, too. Because, like, hold on, I don't know, I wouldn't get his name right. But anyway, well, his dad was an actor, Winghauser. I don't know anything he did. He was in Tales from the Hood. He played one of the cops, like the one that got his head chopped off. Spoiler alert. Tales from the Hood. But also his grandfather or his great grandfather, I forget his first name. His last name was Warner, as in Warner Brothers.
Oh, really?
So yeah, he is the great grandson of one of the
Oh,
founders
okay.
of Warner Brothers.
Okay. So I was
Little
like,
bit-
let's say I don't recognize the dad's name at all, but
No, me neither.
okay. And so that's where it's really coming from. is
Yeah, and
Warner.
it seems like in Hollywood now, not all with these movies these days. You go back, everybody is somebody's kid. or
Everybody's
somebody-
connected to somebody.
Yeah, so much nepotism, and sometimes it's not. Oh, you're this actor's kid, but you're this famous actor's accountant's kid.
Right.
You know, or like you're like Kesha. Her mom wrote songs for Dolly Parton.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah. So I mean, it's not just well they earned it or maybe I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just saying
That's how they got their foot in the door.
exactly. Yeah. You know that's they got made. Yeah, nepotism happens.
Nobody's heard of this guy before. O'Banion. Yeah, you wouldn't recognize him from any
Red
movies.
O'Banion.
Yeah.
No, you know, I think he did didn't he write a movie later?
Oh yeah, with that other guy, he was. Yeah, I don't know. Neither one of those guys really got big though. You know,
No,
I don't know.
man.
Do you know Ben Affleck? You ever heard of Ben Affleck?
Oh, the insurance.
You know, and then another tie to Mallrats.
Another yes. And
Yeah.
he didn't he and Kevin Smith was like, I know who needs to play this character. He's like Ben Affleck.
And
You
he
know,
didn't want to.
he
He
didn't
was
want it.
like, I don't know. I just got through playing the
Yeah,
a-hole in
well,
this
he
other
played.
movie.
That's all he had been playing is
Yeah.
bullies. He was in also he played a bully in a small role in School Ties.
Okay.
You know, which I think Matt Damon's in also.
Okay.
So yeah, he's the other guy that I knew who Ben Affleck was, Mallrats. I knew him
Yeah.
from that, and of course, you know, his career would happen.
Right.
It took me forever to realize he was O'Banion. You know, it was funny, like him hitting on girls while they're making this movie, and him being like, "I'm really better looking than this." He's like, "This isn't how I wear my hair."
I don't normally look like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Whatever, loser.
There was a lot of on screen or a lot of behind the screen romances going on too during this movie, not just bad ones like Bird and Mila, but I don't know. I don't remember Affleck having one. I know some others though. I'll bring them up if it matters. or not.
Okay. You've already mentioned Parker Posey. She played Darla,
Uh-huh. Yeah, great.
Um,
How great is she in this role?
the
dude?
ultimate B.
Yeah,
yeah,
dude, that scene
yeah.
with the hazing,
Yes.
she rocks that. dude.
Yes.
She was on a soap opera at this time too, and they said like while they were filming it, and they'd be walking down, she was played a kind of the same kind of character.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if she's the same, but hated character. People always be screaming at her and stuff. I hate you. And she loved it, man.
Well, there's something to be said about someone that can rock a role so much that you just hate the person. You just hate the character. But it's like, I don't want to hate the character so much that I start to despise the actor themselves, you know? But it's like, hey, if you're that good, then it's like,
Oh, dude, I used to know a guy that would get red blooded anytime he saw Forrest Whitaker because of The Shield.
Oh,
Forrest
yeah.
Whitaker's character in Shield. He hated Forrest Whitaker, and I'm like, that's really just a testament
like-
to how good he
It's
was.
like, he's just acting in that, right? It's like you should, that's like I was in our and that what we're watching Wednesday where I was talking about Mobland, Helen Mirren. That's why I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, dude, I just got through watching her in 1923 where she plays this just darling character,
Yeah.
and then Mobland, it's just the complete opposite, and you just want to choke her the entire time. I mean, just a B and a half and a C and a half, like bad.
She's had an amazing
Psychopath.
career. Like that woman has been acting since like she was young, and she's done so much stuff. And you know what? That was crazy about her? Her tendency to do nudity, like even into her old age.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
she
We
never had any
had
kids. I don't know that matters. But
we had Nicky Cat playing Clint.
yeah, unfortunately, we lost him this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he unfortunately took his own life.
Man.
Yeah, it always sucks. You never know what somebody's going through. Clint, though, he played. There's villain. The few villains in this movie,
Clint's one of them. O'Banion.
O'Banion is probably the mascot of the villains. If you think like, well, pick a villain, it's like, well, it's O'Banion.
Yeah.
But O'Banion, gosh, I knew so many O'Banions in school.
And I've known some Clints.
Yeah, man. And I really we'll talk about that scene too when we get to the fight.
Well, it's like what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll wrap up the cast with Melvin, Jason O. Smith.
Oh yeah, Mel.
Yeah. Mel.
Best
Melvin.
dancer in the movie.
Yeah.
For sure. I love that when he's like, sends him to get a 6-pack, and then he gets it, and he just gives them all away.
Yeah.
I was like,
well, it's like, they're playing pool, so he gives them to the guys that he's playing pool with, gives one to his partner, gives one to Mitch, and then I don't know what happened with the sixth one.
Did he drink it?
Well, that would be
No,
5. Dawn. Did he give Dawn one?
I think so. I don't know.
Okay, something like that. But so if you've enjoyed watching us, listening to us discuss the cast and what little bit of Dazed and Confused that we have talked about, then you're going to want to make sure to definitely tune in on the next video, because we are at the hour mark of this Scarecrow Hour. And so don't worry, we're going to continue to discuss I almost said Mallrats. We're going to continue to discuss Dazed and Confused, Linklater's 1993 movie.
Yeah, this is just we just didn't. We just talked about the cast.
Just talking about the cast.
It's a
good
cast,
dude. I mean, it is like I kind of and I've got so many notes, and so like we're just look. This is not. We're not gonna get it. I knew that we weren't gonna get it all done in 1 hour. So
we didn't even start.
We haven't even talked about the first scene.
We haven't talked about the Universal crawl. Sweet dang emotion.
We will start off the next episode with Sweet Emotion. Maybe not literally. I don't know if we
can't afford that.
Well, we can do 5 seconds of it,
We'll
maybe.
do the sugar package.
So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what your favorite character is. What's your favorite scene? Like, we seriously, come on. You can either hit us up in the comments, or you can email us or whatever, but let us know how the first time you saw Dazed and Confused, your favorite pieces, your favorite people. All right, love you guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Okay?
Yeah, where we actually talk about the movie.
Maybe.
Welcome everyone, Uncle Sam presents the Scarecrow Hour. Welcome to the Scarecrow Hour.
Copyright 2025 Uncle Sam presents. UNKAliSampresents.com.
The most random
Spotify,
ninja.
YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Instagram.
Uncle, who's your uncle? The Scarecrow Hour, brought to you by Uncle Sam.
Check out the rest of our videos.
This is the Scarecrow Hour.
Just want to raw dog this intro. Jump in there.